Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Sandoval Morton. I am a licensed clinical social worker. And in this session, we'll be discussing ways that you can create a safe, more comfortable work environment, specifically focusing on bullying type of behavior. So thank you for joining. First, I wanted to acknowledge the different types of bullying behavior. Of course, we have verbal and psychological bullying behavior, where we use words to hurt, belittle, or intimidate others. The psychological piece being where there's manipulation, humiliation, threats, or constant agency. With social bullying, um, the person's relationships to other people or their reputation is being damaged. Cyberbullying is any form of technology, whether it be text, emails, or any form of technology used to harass, intimidate, or humiliate them. For discriminatory, it would be based on any type of identifying characteristics of that person, so race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. With physical or sexual bullying behavior, we see more physical aggression or harm towards that person, sexual harassment, or any other form of unwanted sexual act. These are the things that I would consider green flags. So good things that we see in the environment that demonstrate that the workplace is against this type of behavior. So there are clear reporting procedures. There is also a clear understanding that confidentiality will be respected and there will be protection against any form of retaliation. There are ongoing trainings and prevention work around this topic. And there is a place where people can go for support and resources that support one's well-being. And lastly, that there are policies and values that show the workplace general culture against bullying. So these are the things that you do and want to see in the environment. And if they're not there, these are the things that you want to advocate for. So there are a couple of ways that you can foster anti-bullying behavior. And one of them is empathy. With empathy, you want to have perspective taking. So this is putting yourself in someone else's shoes to try to see it from their point of view. Want to imagine a time where maybe you felt the same way. And as you become more vulnerable, you're better able to relate to that other person and see where they are coming. Of course, you want to avoid judgment while doing this. So this means not jumping to conclusions, not assuming that you know how to read someone's mind. You want to recognize the emotion. So you want to actively listen to the person that's speaking. What are they actually trying to convey? And you want to communicate your understanding because sometimes people think that they're being very clear, or you think that you're fully understanding what they're saying, but there might be a misunderstanding. So you want to communicate, this is what I understood from what you said. Is that correct? Conflict resolution skills are also very important. You want to identify the source. So what is the actual problem? What are the underlying issues? What are we actually discussing? And you want to actively listen to each other's perspective. And once you have an agreed upon issue, you also want to have agreed upon solutions. And once there's an agreement, you would identify the steps. So how do you move forward? How do you resolve the problem? And you want to do all of this with assertive communication skills. What that means is that you're going to emotionally regulate yourself, right? So there's going to be respectful communication going on. In reviewing these conflict resolution skills and empathy, it really reminded me of this communication skill, the experience cube, that has been very helpful for a lot of my clients when we're discussing ways to address a specific issue with a partner, a family member, a friend, or a colleague. So with this communication tool, you want to make sure that you identify these four key things: observations, thoughts, feelings, and wants. With observations, you want to make sure you focus on the facts. So what are the things that you can both agree on occurred? So maybe in the workforce, there would be a situation where one person observed the other, maybe whispering to a mutual coworker, and there was laughter. And so the person wanting to confront would say, you know, I observed you talking to someone else, and you were looking my way, and then you guys started laughing. Maybe you can agree that those are the facts. That is actually what occurred. And the thoughts would be like, I assumed that you were speaking about me or that you were making fun of me. That is the story that I told myself based on what I observed. And the feeling of that would be maybe that made me feel really sad. I felt humiliated. Um, I felt left out. And the wants. Well, maybe in that scenario, it would be that, well, I would really want to know that I wasn't the topic of discussion. Or if I was, I would really want that type of behavior to stop. Or if this is an ongoing issue, maybe the want or the desired outcome that you would want is, you know, I don't actually want to escalate this. I don't want to report this. So can we stop this type of behavior? So again, I really like this communication tool. It lets us be very clear in addressing a specific issue, and it separates things. I think often we confuse the feelings for thoughts, and maybe that person feels very um, targeted and they come off very defensive. And I think also too, when we're addressing a specific issue, we tend to forget what our desired outcome is. We want to make sure that this is reasonable and that we can both agree. And these are some approaches to consider if this is an ongoing issue and the problem has not been resolved. So if there is bullying behavior that is constant and harmful, in the moment, you really do want to stay calm and composed before reacting. Maybe taking some deep breaths. You want to document these incidents. You want to keep a record. If you do want to have some form of confrontation, again, you want to use assertiveness. So this means that you are able to express yourself and set boundaries, but you do so calmly and respectfully. You want to reach out for support. Maybe you don't know what to do and you're trying to decide whether um, you're taking it too personal or you've missed something, and so you go to colleagues that can offer support or even people in your personal life. You want to have witnesses that can cooperate your story. And ultimately, if you do want to report, obviously, you want to follow the policies that are already in place. You want to prioritize your well-being. So any form of self-care activity is really important. You want to know your rights as an employee. And if things do not resolve, you want to consult with outside resources, say a lawyer or anyone else that can help in that situation. I wanted to include these resources. The trainings and education are a few companies that I found that offer trainings related to equity and diversity and team building, also trainings with related to anti-bullying behavior or like sexual harassment. So I just wanted to include a few of those companies that I found, and these resources in the community. I included this in another presentation, but I wanted to include it again because these agencies do offer general counseling and anger management classes. Really thought that it would be useful. And as always, I want to thank you again for joining this short session. I hope that you can use these tools to promote or maintain a more comfortable work environment. Thank you.